Okay, now we're getting down to the nitty gritty. The utilization of both these lifespan numbers and the birth year numbers. I don't have the birth year numbers with me. Um, I think I can go through anyway. Um, the birth year numbers, as I've said before, with those you can easily chart when the flood occurs because you're looking at this and not these numbers, but you're looking at this list, and it gives the in this place this would be the lifespan, but in its place you would put the years until the birth of the next child. You simply add these up as Bishop Usher did. You simply add these up to get the year of the flood. Um, now, um, you notice something very interesting. Even in here, you notice something, but especially in the birth year chart or the birth age chart. I'll call it the begetting age chart. Between these three primary ones, and of course the this LXX. Of course, there are two versions of that, 20 years apart. Um, in with exception of three characters in here, we're talking about just the first 10 characters. With exception of three characters and really very minor tweaking, um, for all of them, almost all of them, there's 100 years difference between the Septuagint and the Masoretic, and the Samaritan, the SP there, matches the Masoretic. So basically, the Samaritan. Now, the Samaritans were in northern Israel, and the Masoretic seems to fit a Jewish southern Israel mindset or tradition. There's 100 years, so it would make sense that the Samaritan Pentateuch the numbers should match with the Masoretic Pentateuch, the Masoretic text. And notice the Septuagint is consistently 100 years more in terms of the age. So, for example, Adam lived 130 years and then beget Seth, whereas in the Septuagint it's 230. And then Seth, I don't remember Seth's age, but the Septuagint would be 100 years older when begetting the next child and so forth. Um, that works sort of well until you get to the flood, and there's some numbers in there. Now, if you can figure this out, you're utilizing both the birth age, the begetting age, I should say, and the total lifespan. So the birth age, you add them all up, you get, say, in the Masoretic version, 1656. Okay, then you can figure out, based on these lifespan numbers, when each person died. Well, in the whoever was doing the Septuagint, they came up with they have a list of birth age, begetting ages, and then it's like 2242 and 2262. However, you get, I think it's Methuselah. Methuselah lives like 14 years beyond the flood. And it's very clear in the flood story, only Noah and his family survived the flood, and then they repopulate. So maybe it was a mistake, like it was overlooked, it wasn't noticed, or the person my guess is modifying the Masoretic version into when writing the Septuagint, felt the numbers could not be changed. It just You just have Methuselah living 14 years beyond the flood, and so um, in these 10, you have the Septuagint being 100 years older than they when they beget a child than they are in the Masoretic, except for three characters. There, it's Jared, Methuselah, and Lamech. Now, who are they? Where are they found in here? They are Methuselah. Well, there's Jared, and Enoch apparently remains untouched. But Jared, Methuselah, and Methuselah's son Lamech, and then you have Noah. And of course, the flood occurs during Noah's life. During his lifespan. So it's as if whoever was adjusting, and I say adjusting the ages to add on 100 years when writing the um, Septuagint, um, it's as if they did them and then they had to um, do something with the numbers. In addition to the 100 years added on, they had to do something with Methuselah, Lamech, and Jared, probably because of that flood. That flood was probably what caused them to have to alter the numbers even more. Um, Now, there are some differences. Like, for example, here you have Lamech being 777. That's suspiciously looking like a triple seven. And of course, seven is refers to the number of weeks, and um, the there's a cycle in Jewish tradition. It's 7 times 7, which is be 49, and so forth. 7 is a very symbolic number. But notice both the Septuagint and the Samaritan are something 53, and notice they're 100 years apart, as if was this original number. Remember what I said before, the Samaritan tended to follow, or consistently followed, whatever the age was in the Masoretic. Was the original age for Lamech 653 over here, and then notice it would be 100 years after, just following suit with what happened in the Septuagint with the other ages, merely adding 100 years. Was this number originally 653 and then added 100 years to 753, and the Samaritans preserved that 653, whereas somebody stepped in and changed the Masoretic from 653 to 777? Same thing here. 847 in the Samaritan, 962 in the Masoretic, and then this Septuagint also says 962. And I'll read you what this note says. It says, I wrote it down, it says, whittled down to have them die in the flood. So that was the speculation, the articles I was reading were that these numbers were modified to get them to die in the flood, year of the flood. So if you notice after the flood, this would be now starting with 11 down to 19. That's Genesis 11, chapter 11. And I will do this here. Trying to read my handwriting. This right here says, likely reduced to accord with Torah begetting Avram at age 70, while Abram leaves at age 175, leaves at age 175 after death. That's referring to Terah. Notice that's also different. This 145. Basically, what that means is maybe it was modified so that Abram's father Terah is 70 when he begets Abram, so that he would be a certain age, so that his death year would coincide with Abram leaving. And that about covers it. I will probably think of more to put in, but I think I've covered quite a bit here. I want to mention that Josephus wrote his Antiquities of the Jews when he was in the employ of the Romans. Basically, he's writing a history of his people, and he's been recognized as a historian, but he was also a propagandist for Rome. And like anybody, and even now, like anybody, as with anybody, they're not necessarily writing. They're not writing history that shouldn't be at least questioned or looked at critically. In other words, don't take what he says as the whole truth. should not be questioned because he had an agenda, especially in these times. All these historians had agendas. So I will leave you with that, and I wouldn't be surprised if I make a follow-up to this video. I just wanted to get this stuff out there and introduce you to it. So I guess I'll talk to you next time.